Hello, this is Pac-Man for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I'm running it in the old NeoPop emulator. Uh, NeoPop is the same code that Mednafen runs, the emulator Mednafen runs for its Neo Geo Pocket Color emulation, but it basically just took NeoPop's code, bugs and all. I mean, you can check exact bugs that NeoPop listed having, and Mednafen has them. And NeoPop is old. I don't think it's been updated in I forget how long it was now, but it was like early 2000s. Anyway, so the problem with NeoPop is that its graphics, because it is so old, its full screen graphic output is not. It just doesn't work anymore. At least not on my laptop in Windows 11 with whatever NVIDIA graphics processor GPU thing my gaming laptop has. It just crashes. So I'm having to run it windowed, which you can get it up to 4x resolution windowed, which is like 640 pixels square roughly, and then I'm doubling that in my recording software and adding a little border, so it gets up to about 1440p. So it's whatever. But it does do something that Mednafen does not do, which is a little trick I'll show you. So this is the Neo Geo Pocket Color version of Miss Pac-Man running as it would look approximately on the screen of a Neo Geo Pocket Color. But as with a number of, actually a fair number of Neo Geo Pocket Color games, if you put the cartridge, which is made for Neo Geo Pocket Color, if you put it in the original Neo Geo Pocket system, which was only black and white, it was a predecessor system to the Neo Geo Pocket Color, it will play on that black and white system in its 4 gray tones or whatever it is. And NeoPop lets you, there's just a little menu setting where you can select system type, and you can pick Neo Geo Pocket Color instead of, or Neo Geo Pocket instead of Neo Geo Pocket Color. So I'm going to do that now. So now this is emulating what happens when you put the cartridge in the black and white Neo Geo Pocket Color system. And what I particularly like about this is they didn't just do, like black and white Pac-Man with a black background. They inverted it for some reason. Maybe it just didn't look hot enough on a black screen with light colored Pac-Man and ghosts. So they inverted it. It's negative eyes. Look at this wild thing. So we're going to try playing this. So in either color or black and white, you can pick between scrolling or full screen. And I think scrolling is the default, and I think there's a good reason for that. So we'll start with scrolling. Now, of course, the drawback to scrolling is that, hang on a second. Oh my gosh, this is loud. I gotta turn down my headset. As I clobber my microphone. The drawback to scrolling is that, of course, you can't see the full screen, so you don't know where the ghosts are at all times, which makes things more difficult. Oh no, I died already. See, so there well, I think I could see all those ghosts. I can't blame that on the scrolling, I don't think. But I couldn't exactly see the ones on the right side who were coming through that tunnel, although I kind of knew they were doing that. Oh no, I couldn't see, so I'm even worse at this than I am at regular Pac-Man. But I have an excuse now. I don't have an excuse for being bad at regular Pac-Man. Sound-wise, you can tell that sometimes when it gets a little frantic, the sound gets a little weird. Like that sound is a little off when you're eating ghosts. Ah! Okay, there was nobody there that time. Ooh. See, like the dot chomping sound is fine, but it's when it's having to do like the ghost chasing background sound along with eating dots that it gets a little bit funky. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. But sort of a side effect of the scroll is that it feels kind of like a faster game. Because, you know, the maze is zoomed in, essentially. So you're covering this zoomed-in screen faster, just because it is only, you know, a tiny part of the screen. You cover the tiny part of the screen faster than you would cover the full screen. So you kind of feel like you're playing Turbo Pac-Man a little bit. Ah. Oh man, it sounds like it's quacking. Sounds like I'm playing Duckman. Is there a Duckman game? There ought to be. Ducks are weird. Have a lot of fun with the Duckman game. Quacky, 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 quacky. Uh-oh. Okay. The other drawback is that you can't see the colors of the ghosts. They're all the same shade of gray. Now, you'd have thought they could have done something about that, like give them little dither patterns at least, or maybe just some little indicator on the ghost, but I guess they didn't want to mess with it too much. See, now I don't know where my dots that I need to eat are. Okay, over here. Yeah, definitely, the sound definitely can't keep up when you're eating ghosts. Oh, and now, so Pac-Man, of course, gets slightly faster as you get off of the first stage. I'm not sure. I mean, the ghosts keep getting faster and faster. I'm not sure if this is Pac-Man's fastest speed. I forget. Yeah, the sound is getting real weird. Oh, why did I think I could make that? That was a little too optimistic. Pac-Man, when you bought the game for Neo Geo Pocket Color, you got, it came with a tiny little red plastic ring. And this ring had four little spokes on it, on the inside of it. And it would settle into the sort of indentation around the Neo Geo Pocket Color's joystick and just sit right there around the base of its little clicky stick, and the four little prongs sticking inward off of this circle around the base of the click stick would block the stick from moving in the four diagonal directions. So it basically turned it from an 8-way joystick into a 4-way joystick, which, and of course, in the arcade cabinets used a 4-way joystick. Because they didn't have to do diagonals, they just had to do the four orthogonal directions. So, you know, it kind of made it kept you from wasting diagonal motions, which were not helpful and were kind of inefficient. In fact, if you were playing strictly with the original Pac-Man arcade code, doing a diagonal could really screw you up, because the way that actual arcade Pac-Man figures which direction it needs to be moving, is that it just bases it on the last direction that's input, which is fine when you're dealing with, dang, I missed my fruit. When you're dealing with just the four cardinal directions, because those are distinct from each other. But to get diagonals, An 8-way joystick takes the two orthogonal directions next to each other, like up and left, for instance. And when you hit a diagonal, when you push diagonal up and left on a 8-way stick, you're actually activating both the up circuit and the left circuit. So if you mix a 8-way joystick with the original Pac-Man code, and say you're traveling upwards and you hit a diagonal up and left while you're traveling upwards, Pac-Man will say, Pac-Man will say, it might say, okay, well, the last input I have is left, because you hit up, left, but maybe not exactly at the same exact frame, you know. So it might say, okay, the last input I have is left, and then you can push back to up, but because you were hitting up the whole time, it won't re-register as a new input, so that last input will stay in Pac-Man, the game's memory, as left, and then when you hit the next branch of the maze that has a passage going to the left, Pac-Man will suddenly head left, even though you might be pushing up at that point and not left at all. Oh man, I'm getting dogged. And that could really mess with you in the ports of Pac-Man that kept strictly to the arcade code. And I think, for instance, Pac-Man Museum on PS3 did that. The port of Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, I think, in Pac-Man Museum on PS3. And so I actually went and tried to make a 4-way joystick with arcade parts, modifying I think it was a Mad Catz PS3 arcade stick, so that it would not do diagonal, so it was a 4-way stick. And I was trying also to replicate the sort of rubbery grommet on an actual Pac-Man arcade stick. Pac-Man arcade sticks are really interesting. I mean, they're these they're leaf switches, so they're these long, what is it, like brass prongs or something that actually are tapped together when you angle the stick in one of the 4 directions. Then there's like a rubber grommet around the base of the stick that gives it the sort of bounciness when you push it fully in one direction, or when you push it anyway in one direction, I guess. And it of course feels really good when you get a fully working one. But I couldn't find any arcade parts that would fit in like a modern, like console arcade stick enclosure. The actual like leaf switch, arcade leaf switch parts are like way too tall vertically. So I had to try to approximate it with some like smaller leaf switch thing, and I couldn't find a stick, of course, that had that same rubber grommet around the base. So I tried some various sticks, but none of them quite gave the same sort of springy, grommety feel. So I ended up with kind of a floppy thing that it's a little sad. Okay, so where's my dots? I don't know, I can't see them. Oh, the drama, oh, there they are. Oh, no. Okay, no problem. I do have a grayscale, Neo Geo Pocket, and I do have the Pac-Man cartridge with the little red ring thing, the 4-way ring adapter. I'm not sure that works on a Neo Geo Pocket. I'm not sure it fits it quite right, but I guess I'd be surprised if it didn't. I also never actually tried putting my Pac-Man cartridge in the black and white system, but NeoPop probably has it right. Probably does this. There's three of the games I have, and I have about 30 of color and black and white games. I guess only like 10 black and white games actually, and I have 4 of them. And of the games I have, of the color games I have, 3 of them are kind of interesting. They do interesting things when you put them in a black and white system, things you might not expect. I mean, the normal thing would just be for the game to run, you know, more or less normally, except just in black and white or grayscale. The second most common thing would be for it to pop up a screen that just says, you know, this doesn't work in this system, put it in a color system or something. But, so 3 games I have do something different. Pac-Man is one of them. I mean, it's playing the black and white game, but it's playing it in inverted colors. So that's weird. I didn't see another game of mine that did that. Another thing that one game does, so there's a Japanese-only game called King of Fighters Battle to Paradise. Battle to Paradise, DE. And when you put that in a black and white Neo Geo Pocket, it actually plays a hidden mini-game. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because Battle to Paradise is like a board game where you trigger mini-games, various mini-games as you go around the board. So it's sort of in keeping with the actual game that you would trigger this hidden mini-game by sticking the cartridge into a black and white system. And it's actually a really cool little game. It's called Yosaku, and you're a woodcutter chopping down trees. And there's like snakes coming up you along the ground from below, and then there's like, I think it's just birds who are pooping from above. You gotta watch out for that. And there's something else, I think. So that's just a fun little arcade-style game. I'm gonna do a video of that. And then there's a third thing I just actually realized this evening, and I have to do a video of that, which will be pretty short. But, oh no. I got a new high score. Which is, SNK versus Capcom Match of the Millennium, where it shows, so like a lot of games, they show just a static screen that says, you know, it's got some kind of graphic, and it says, you know, sorry, put it in a color system. But the Match of the Millennium shows a screen with a funny cartoon that kind of says something like that, but it's like 2 characters messing with each other, you know. But what I didn't realize until I tested that again, I just ran it again in NeoPop tonight, and it showed a different picture. So actually, I think it's about 10 pictures that it cycles through each time you turn the system on in a black and white system. So you'd have to turn it on like 10 times to see all the like King of Fighters and Capcom cartoons. I think do they have Capcom characters? Maybe they're all SNK characters. I don't remember. So I'm going to do a little video of that just to show all those pictures. Okay, so I'll show you full screen, and then we'll switch to the actual color version. So this just suddenly feels really slow, and I haven't tried to like time it or something to see if it's actually running slower than the scroll version. I don't think it is. But so I think just the reason that they did the scroll version was because then they could show the original sprites at their full size, so they look normal. Whereas you'll see here that it's so everything had to be shrunk down because the Neo Geo Pocket Color is such a tiny screen resolution. Well, and I mean it's the same screen resolution as the black and white system. It's 160 pixels by wide by 152 pixels high, which is like, I don't know, half of the resolution of a old arcade game. I suppose a quarter if you're talking about total pixels, but so they had to scale the sprites so everything looks a little weird. I do like how the ghosts have just big eyes. Oh no, I'm stuck. The ghosts have huge eyes. Look at those big old eyes. But like the dots are kind of, you know, extra tiny. Power pellets are extra tiny. And it just feels a lot slower all of a sudden because, you know, again, you're not, now you're crossing the full screen when you go across the screen instead of just a tiny zoomed in portion of it. So it just feels like you're moving half the speed, kind of, based on how fast you're crossing the screen. That strawberry was super, it kind of looked like a spotty turnip. The sound sounds a little even weirder. Give me that pack. Oh. Oh. Strawberry. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, it's payday. You ghosts are paying the Paxter. So the cutscenes show it. It's like zoomed in size, I guess. Oh. Give me that fruit. What is that, an apple? Kind of hard to tell. Oh, man. And I mean, the maze looks a little... The walls look a little too skinny, you know? They didn't have a whole lot of pixels to work with. I am kind of surprised how the sound can't really keep up. Like maybe... Shoot. Maybe their sound emulation just wasn't as efficient as it should have been. Oh, man. Didn't get to stiff fruits. I should have tried to get some more dots. I got all these dots I gotta get up here now. Oh, it's quacking again. Quacky pack. Oh, I didn't have to do that. Just, gosh, dang it. But yeah, you can't tell which pack is where, which ghost is which is kind of important if you're actually trying to be good at this, because of course each ghost famously has its own particular little simple AI rules that it follows, so you would know which way it was going to go. Oh, bad. Okay, let's switch to the color. So this is what you get if you put the game in a color, Neo Geo Pocket, or also called the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Amazing color, and now it's a black background instead of the inverted colors. And now you can see the different ghosts. Now wait a second. When you put it in, I'm going to switch back. This kind of does a number on my eyeballs this sudden. Does it give you that, does it tell you the different ghost names for the ghosts, but show you identical looking ghosts? Oh yeah, it does. Oh, amazing. Yeah, tell them apart. It's like you have to be their mom, maybe ghost mom could tell them apart. All right, back to color. Okay. So we'll start with scroll. Actually, I want to start with full screen. Dang you. You know, what's funny is I think it saves that scroll or full screen setting to like flash memory or something on the cartridge, because I think if you restart after that, it will remember what setting you had it on. So let's test that. Gonna do the reset function. Oh no, it didn't. But I could have sworn that it did the attract mode in the full screen after I picked full screen, which seemed weird. But maybe it always does the attract mode in full screen. Pokey. I forgot the power pellets. Oh no, now it's zoomed in, so I'm just wrong all over. Alright, maybe it just alternates in the attract mode. Okay, let's just do a little... Oh, God, I can't remember anything that I'm doing. Do full screen, then we'll go to the superior and faster scroll. Of course, you're extra slow on this first stage. And I'm not nearly enough of a Pac-Man expert to tell you if the ghosts follow their you know, usual routes, their usual patterns. Because, of course, unlike Mrs. Pac-Man, their movements are not randomized, so if you move the same way, then the ghost will always move the same way in this game. Which means you can beat each stage once you've memorized a winning route. You just have to execute the pattern, you know. Uh-oh, I'm so bad. I don't like patterns, so I just play off the seat of my pants, and of course I'm also not very good, so that's disastrous. But they have tweaked the control, because it's not doing that thing where you get weird directions from diagonal inputs. Unpredictable directions from accidental diagonals. That hasn't happened. It probably would have happened by now if it was possible in this. So that little four-way converter ring they give you isn't strictly necessary to prevent that kind of control mishap. It just kind of makes the control feel tighter. It makes it feel more like arcade Pac-Man, I suppose. I had to go for the fruit, didn't I? The weird-looking little fruit. Alright, well that speeds us along here, because now I can go to scroll. Wait, which one's it on? I think red is the selected one. Good. Oh yeah, now we're swinging. It's got the mystery, the speed. It's a superior game. It's also got the full-size sprites. The full-size fruit. Look at that glorious giant cherry. It looks so yummy. I must have it. Uh-oh. Oh, the sound's getting weird. The sound's getting fruity. Fruity pebbles. Getting all sugary and excited. That's what happens to me when I eat fruit. Just trying to pretend that I wasn't saying fruity in some kind of derogatory manner. I really didn't intend it that way, but, you know, you can't really say anything. If you're an idiot like me, anything you say comes out sounding wrong. Ah! Uh-oh. Okay, good. That was me. That was my mastery of the ghost AI. Yeah, that's it. I suppose if you were really a master, let's test some of those real masters and make them play. Oh no, that wasn't the last dot. Well, that's some of the fun you have in scroll mode. See, if I was a real pack master, I would have known that there were more dots down there. Yeah, let's test, you know, those pack experts, whoever they are, the record setters, the ones who can do a perfect game. See if they can do that in Neo Geo Pocket Color, Miss Pac-Man, or, you know, much less. Is it much more so the black and white version, where you can't tell the ghosts apart, you just have to know. You have to know which ghost is which by looking at their behavior. Oh my gosh, I got out of that. Who's a pack master? Not me. I just get lucky once in a while. I wonder if this does the thing where you have a, like, 1 in 24 chance of passing through a ghost. Ah! Is it 1 in 24? It's whatever chance you have when your two sprites intersect at just the right pixel, basically. And there aren't that many pixels in these sprites, so it's a pretty decent chance, really, considering you essentially get a free life out of it. Which is to say, you don't die when you should have died. I'm getting myself into trouble now, aren't I? Shoot! Shoot! Ah! I got it. So yeah, I was wondering to myself if regular arcade, playing arcade Pac-Man kind of freaks me out. It's just such a unforgiving game. It's brutal, you know? And especially if you're not really interested in memorizing patterns, which I am not, because my memory is not great. And I just prefer to play by the seat of my old worn out pants. Oh! Then it's just a rough game, but you know, you make it a little more mysterious. You make the sound effects a little weirder. And, it's kind of a different ball game. Uh-oh. It won't matter, though, because I'm still so bad at it, and this just makes it harder. But I can blame it on, you know, blame it on the scroll. So I have an out, even if it's one that anybody will ever sympathize with. It makes me feel better. I don't feel as bad, that's all that matters. Can't catch me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That got me. Golly jeepers. Golly jeepers. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to play a whole lot in the inverted black and white mode. The ghost colors are a big part of the sort of, I don't know, it's big part of the game's presentation, really. As is the blue maze and all the various colors. Color's cool. So, yeah. I just do think it's funny how they inverted the grayscale. I wonder if it was actually like a technical thing, like maybe the black and white screen couldn't do. Oh, actually, I was thinking maybe it was like a speed thing, but it was actually probably like I was thinking maybe the black and white screen was just slower to display a lot of black pixels rather than white pixels, but that doesn't really make sense because the default state of the screen is black. Not that I know anything about it, but actually I'm thinking maybe it's more likely that it was like a ghosting thing because the screen on the Neo Geo Pocket, the black and white screen, is super prone to ghosting. Like it is so... Oh my gosh, they just don't want me to get this strawberry. I got it though, yes! It's so much more delicious because of the effort required. There is so much sort of motion blur on the screen when the full screen is panning on that grayscale Neo Geo Pocket screen that maybe the ghosting is worse when it's bright sprites on a black background. Or maybe like it just made the little dots like almost invisible. I don't know. I could go test it, but I'd have to dig up a watch battery thing to put in this for the system clock. I'd have to dig up some AAA batteries to run the system. It's a tough life. Well, I guess I couldn't test it because it'll only run in inverted color, so what am I thinking about? I can't hack it to run in reverse non-inverted colors. There, I saved myself from having to put batteries in my Neo Geo Pocket. I do like the Neo Geo Pocket, though. It's a smaller system. The screen's the same size, but the rest of the system around the screen is it's lighter weight, it's thinner. It's just kind of cool, kind of a streamlined feeling to it. It's making quacking sounds. Okay, where's the dots? Hey, there's some. Listen to those. It's not wakka wakka, it's wakka wakka. It's like we pitched up. Can I get that sweet, sweet orange? Yeah. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Oh, he didn't go down. He went across. Fudgesicles. So I guess it's not saving my top scores from session to session, is it? Oh, I meant to turn through the tunnel. Dang it. Maybe if I was playing on an actual Neo Geo Pocket clicky stick with a 4-directional ring, I wouldn't have made that input error. We can pretend it was that, not poor reflexes. Quacky, quacky, quacky. I wasn't sure that was the last dots. So you're never really sure. At least I'm not with my lack of paying attention to what dots I've eaten. Now we're flying. Oh, oh, yes. I mean, like, one thing I really don't like about Pac-Man is that you just get less and less time to eat ghosts. Like, later it becomes more or less impossible to eat ghosts. Not that I get that far. And all you really get is, like, a second's respite from them chasing you. It's ridiculous. I think you should get more and more time to eat. Oh, okay, so I can blame that on the scroll, right? But I got 31K. Which is not a great score by normal pack, by even my low pack standards. But, you know, the scrolling, that's what it was. So yeah, there you go. Let's switch it back to black and white, just for the outro here. So that is Neo Geo Pocket Color in, or emulated via NeoPop, as running in both a black and white Neo Geo Pocket system and then in the color Neo Geo Pocket Color system. And we can see our 4 very different ghosts look identical in the black and white system emulation, which is pretty funny. But, I mean, you know, that would be better than just sticking the cartridge in if you hadn't been able to pick up a color system yet and you really wanted to play Pac-Man. And you could still play it, it's just you couldn't really tell which ghosts were which. But, you know, it adds to the challenge. You know, I think they should make the Pac experts play this version. This is the Grandmaster Challenge, man. Can you mess with the ghost minds when you can't tell them apart by looking at them? So yeah, anyway, fun times with Pac-Man. I didn't really think I'd be playing another Pac-Man game for a while, but then, you know, then this happened, so there was a reason to boot up a Pac game. And I like Pac-Man, it's just that I'm bad at it and it scares me. I mean, I have fun playing it in the moment, but I can't. Like, if I'm just babbling away into a microphone and I'm sort of distracted, I can just kind of have fun running around a maze. But if I actually, like, sit and try to play it, I just get so frustrated and scared and sad because I can't. I just hit a wall. Although I mean, in theory, you know, you would break through walls gradually, not metaphorically speaking, not the actual Pac walls, but you would get better gradually if you just kept playing, if you just putting in the hours, you know. But there's a lot of games to play, so I'm not going to be doing that for a while. But if I was going to, would I play this version? I might. Because then, even though I can't run it in full screen, I'm just running it in this sort of 640 pixel window. But, you know, I might, because I could blame I could blame all of my bad scores on the limitations of the version. And then somebody could say, well, there is a full screen mode, so blaming it on scrolling is not realistic because you could play it in the non-scrolling mode. And I'd be like, well, yeah, but then it looks weird. I mean, this looks weird too, but it looks weird in kind of a cool way. But actually not. It's probably harder on the eyeballs, actually, so I probably shouldn't even play it this way. Although it's curious because I don't know if you can really tell just by looking at the video, but it's not a full white color. It's a slightly gray. Actually, it looks more like a slight sepia, but I think that might just be NeoPop sort of trying to emulate the slight brownish color of it. I don't know, I never noticed the screens being brown, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, it's this, in NeoPop here, the background is not white, it's like a slightly kind of beigey color. And the ghosts are kind of a beigey gray. And Pac-Man's a sort of a beigey gray. Beigey gray. So yeah, and also, it's kind of like the frame rate gets a bit janky here and there. But you know, and of course the sound gets really weird. I don't know, I kind of like this version though, like, it feels more dynamic, which is the way the screen scrolls around. But of course, I would probably want to play full screen Pac-Man if I was really going to try to get into it. Probably just be playing it in MAME. Uh-oh. But then I would suck and I wouldn't have excuses and I would get sad and I would stop after a couple hours tops. Well, because I do dumb stuff like that. I don't know how to play Pac-Man. You gotta know, like, where to go, where not to go, where you can just juke around for a while and trick the ghosts, and then how to get the ghosts all clumped into one bunch so you can eat them all at once when you only have like a second to eat later. It's disgusting. But yeah, I couldn't play it. I mean, even if I got good enough, which I wouldn't, then you get to the point where you just gotta follow patterns. You're just following memorized patterns, and I don't know. That ain't what I want to do. So while I think these games are neat like this and Dig Dug, I just can't play it. But then that was kind of why I was always thinking I was more into Mrs. Pac-Man, because of the randomized ghost movement. But then I just get slaughtered in Miss Pac-Man, which is a harder game anyway. So it's like, well, I mean, now what? Now what do I got? I just can't play these games. They're just too rough. Too rough for me. I'll go play some some Demon Souls or something maybe, although I haven't been back to that in a while. But man, people think they got it rough with games these days, with Souls games. Just go play some Pac-Man, see how long you last. Oh no, I thought there were dots there. Oh. Why am I still playing? Oh, they got me again. Ooh. Is that an apple or an orange? I think that's the orange. Of course, orange isn't an orange in this, it's a gray. Tasty gray. Oh. Have some gray juice with your breakfast. Oh, the sound got sick. I'm going for you. Oh, he came right forward to me. That was beautiful. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, shoot. Abort. Okay. Wow, I got real lucky. Oh, I still have a power pellet. See, that's the kind of fun you have in this version. Okay, I'm not gonna go for that guy. I'm getting out of here. Can I beat 38k? I got 12k to go. It's one life. Not looking great. If I could get 40k, I would be pretty impressed with myself. Because I struggle to get 40k in regular Pac-Man. I think. Maybe I'm thinking of Miss Pac-Man. Oh no, well, no worries there. Look at those eyeballs. Alright, I'm out of here. Can you tell these ghosts apart in their police lineup here? There's Shadow, aka Blinky, the worst of the bunch. You'll identify him by his particularly aggressive demeanor. That's it. I think I'm gonna try to squeeze, you know, the little Capcom versus or SNK versus Capcom match of the Millennium thing, showing off the little his cartoon screens you get in a black and white system now. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.